Some people believe that animals are stupid, but then again, some people are pretty stupid. World War I was one of the bloodiest events our world has ever seen, claiming the lives of over 16 million people. Major Charles White Whittlesey was a well-known American soldier in the war and found himself and his battalion in a terrible predicament. He was stuck in a depression by a hill behind enemy lines. The soldiers had run out of food, they had run out of ammunition, and they were being picked off by German soldiers. To make matters worse, Allied forces had no idea where Whittlesey or his soldiers were and would occasionally open fire on their location. In one day, the battalion's numbers were cut from 500 soldiers to under 200. Whittlesey had to do something before everyone was killed. So he dispatched carrier pigeons that had been kept with the soldiers. He attached letters to their legs and sent them up one by one. The first pigeon took to the skies but was promptly shot down and killed. The second pigeon met the same fate. But the third pigeon, named Cher Ami, which translates to dear friend in French, would be more successful. As Cher Ami arose from her position, German soldiers immediately spotted her and opened fire. Cher Ami was struck. A bullet blasted through her breast, another blinded one of her eyes, and another nearly ripped off one of her legs. Cher Ami plummeted to the ground and hit hard, but she refused to succumb to the pain. She had a mission, and she would see it finished. She managed to take flight again and endured the trip to her destination, delivering the note and leading to the rescue of the entire remaining soldiers. Cher Ami was labeled more than just dear friend, but hero. Cher Ami was able to be patched up partially and received a wooden leg, but she unfortunately passed away from her injuries 8 months later. Her body is currently on display at the National Museum of American History. The 2011 tsunami in Japan still impacts the world today. Aside from lingering radiation issues, over 18,000 people lost their lives from the tragedy. But for an 83-year-old woman named Tami Akanuma, she would find herself blessed with a bit of luck, ushered in by her Shih Tzu Babu. Akanuma believed the day was like any other until a terrible earthquake rocked Japan. Fortunately, she was unharmed by the event, but when the lights went out and alarms began blaring, she knew that her life was going to change. But she had no idea just how much. Babu began to act strange, urging Akanuma to leave her house as quickly as possible. It was as if Babu wanted to go for a walk, something the two used to do a lot together. Now that Babu was 12 years old, however, it wasn't as common. Akanuma leashed her dog and stepped outside. Babu didn't take the way they would go for walks in the past, but the opposite direction. A bit confused, she followed Babu, who was being uncharacteristically forceful, pulling at the leash and trying to get Akanuma to move faster. At times, the dog would stop and wait for her owner to catch up before charging forward again. Babu led her master towards a hill. At her age, Akanuma found climbing it to be a challenge, but Babu wouldn't let her give up. Eventually, Akanuma reached the top of the hill where an evacuation center was set up for survivors. She finally was able to catch her breath and looked back in shock. Her entire home and all others around it were consumed by a colossal wave, destroying everything. She couldn't even see the path they had walked anymore, as it was entirely overtaken by menacing waters. The tsunami would kill thousands itself, and Akanuma would have been one if her little dog Babu hadn't so frantically guided her to the hilltop. Her faithful companion led her to the right place at the right time. Something inside Babu just knew exactly where to go. Sometimes even mascots can become heroes. During World War I, American soldiers utilized Yale University campus as training grounds. One soldier, Corporal Robert Conroy, noticed while training that a stray Boston Bull Terrier would frequently hang around to watch the soldiers train. Eventually, Conroy took the dog in, and the soldiers fell in love with the dog they considered to be a mascot. They even taught him to sit, raise one paw, and salute. The soldiers named him Stubby because of his short tail. Eventually, it was time for the soldiers to head to war, and Conroy smuggled Stubby aboard the ship. Conroy's commanding officer eventually found Stubby and was displeased, as stowing away a pet on board was against the rules. But Conroy had Stubby salute the commanding officer and was able to win him over. Stubby was allowed to stay. Stubby served with the regiment for 18 months. He participated in 4 offensives and 17 battles, at one time in particular remaining under near constant fire for over a month solid. Stubby improved the morale of the troops, but during a raid was wounded in the foreleg by a grenade. Luckily, he survived and was sent to the rear while he recovered, continuing to aid soldiers with morale boosts. Then one day, Stubby was gassed by German soldiers. Remarkably, the resilient Stubby survived and now had a scent for the gas. Armed with this knowledge, Stubby would warn troops of incoming gas attacks, his sensitive nose picking up on it early. His ears were also more sensitive and were able to hear the whistle from incoming artillery attacks before the troops could, and he would even alert them to duck and cover. He would also search for and locate wounded soldiers to get them help. After Stubby discovered and captured a German spy, the commander of the regiment nominated Stubby for the rank of sergeant. Stubby was smuggled back home by Conroy, who also survived, and he was seen as a hero. He would lead parades and even met 3 presidents. Conroy and Sergeant Stubby spent the rest of Stubby's life together until Stubby passed away in his sleep in 1926. His body is now on display with Cher Ami. Animals, time and time again, have proven to be capable of remarkable things. To show you how exactly incredible animals can be, I wanted to recommend a very special channel to you. They're called Animalogic. They create amazing videos that will not only entertain you, but you'll learn amazing things about the animals we share this world with. They even recently released a video on why minks just might be serial killers.
Folk wisdom portrays minks as serial killers, slaughtering everything in their path in a wild killing spree. This actually isn't that far from the truth. Minks kill their prey by biting their necks and sucking their blood. So given enough prey, say in a henhouse, the resulting scene can be worthy of an episode of Dexter.
Animalogic are very good friends of mine, so I would very much appreciate if you would check out their channel and subscribe. You can do so by clicking here or going down into the description below, and there is a link down there for you. That's all for now. Remember, you may not believe it, but anything is possible in a world so seriously strange. I'm Rob Dyke, and I'll see you next Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe, because you won't want to miss what's next.